Hello, my name is Andrea. I am a registered social worker and counselor. I also teach mindfulness and meditation, and I'm here today to speak with you about the topic of meditation. I'm going to share with you what meditation is, some of the different meditative practices, and the overall benefits of meditation and how you can start to practice. Meditation is both a skill and an experience that, with regular practice, can positively change your overall health and well being. So, what is meditation? Meditation involves a set of techniques or repeated disciplines that support in heightening states of awareness, improving concentration, and focusing attention. We can think of meditation as the training of one's mind. The meditator is trained to notice more and more of the flow of life's experience. The objective of practice is to learn to see the truth of the mind's process, to develop a more compassionate relationship to ourselves, and ultimately to witness the truth of change and impermanence in our lives. Some of the long-term effects of meditation can be a deep calm, a physiological slowing of the metabolism and nervous system, and an inner sense of peace and well-being. Meditation is a relatively new practice to our Western society, but it's important to note that meditation has been practiced by many cultures all over the world for thousands of years. Nearly every religion, including Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, have traditions of using meditative practices. There are many spiritual traditions woven within these religious sects that offer many vehicles for higher awareness. Body disciplines such as yoga and yogic meditations are used to cultivate a direct relationship to the body, as well as mental steadiness. Prayer, where one addresses a spiritual entity, can be used as a meditative practice, as well as contemplation, which involves a prolonged period of conscious thought about a specific topic or mantra. All of these are used as a means to achieve a stillness of mind and a strength of heart, practicing to train the mind, but also practicing so that we can come to observe and feel the range of feelings and emotions that might be present without closing down or resisting what's there. Meditation teaches us about our mind, as well as how to access our innate capacity for loving kindness and ultimately peace within. While meditation has been used for religious purposes, many people practice it independently of any religious or spiritual belief or practice. Meditation can also be used in a therapeutic way to support relieving symptoms of anxiety and stress and developing a greater sense of yourself that is compassionate and wise. The type of meditation that we will focus on here is mindfulness meditation, which involves a concentrating attention on a single object like the breath or an area of the body and returning the attention over and over, meanwhile developing greater awareness of body sensations, thoughts, and emotions. With a regular practice of mindfulness meditation, you're creating a compassionate space for yourself, allowing the arising of all these different states of being to surface. The sorrow, loneliness, shame, desire, frustration, happiness. Through a regular practice of mindfulness meditation, we practice facing life fully, with all its suffering and joy, knowing that your awareness is great enough to hold it all. While the instructions on how to practice meditation are relatively simple, the actual experience of it can be more complex and at times challenging. There are some general attitudes of practice that are important to consider when introducing a meditation practice into your life. One quality is patience. When we are practicing meditation with an attitude of patience, we are aware of the fact that some things must unfold in their own time. This helps us to know that we can cultivate patience towards our own mind and body while practicing meditation. So we treat ourselves as we would treat a butterfly, not believing that we need to break open the cocoon to help ourselves transform, but allowing the time and space necessary for the butterfly to develop in its own time. So we treat ourselves as we would treat the butterfly, with patience and understanding. Practicing patience is simply being open to each moment, accepting, knowing that, like the butterfly, things can only unfold in their own time. Another attitude of practice that is imperative to consider when embarking on a journey of meditation is an attitude of beginner's mind. This is another quality of practice that can greatly aid us in treating each moment as if it were a brand new experience. Too often, we let our thinking and our beliefs about what we know prevent us from seeing things as they really are. To see the richness of the present moment, we need to cultivate this beginner's mind, to let each time you sit in meditation be as if you were encountering your experience, your body, emotions, and thoughts for the first time. That means taking it moment by moment and letting go of all your expectations and preconceptions that you might have. This allows for each moment to be a new moment, and a fresh new way of relating to our experience is possible when we can adopt a beginner's mind in our lives and in our meditation practice. Each time you sit in meditation, be as if you were encountering your experience, your body, emotions, and thoughts for the first time. That means taking it moment by moment and letting go of all your expectations and preconceptions that you might have. The basic instructions for practicing sitting meditation are very simple. We observe the breath as it flows in and out, and we give our full attention to the feeling of the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Wherever we find that our attention has moved elsewhere, wherever that may be, we just note it, let it go, and then gently invite our attention back to the breath, wherever you might notice it in the body. If you have had any experiences in watching your own thoughts, you will discover right away that the mind tends to move around a lot. If it moves off the breath 100 times, then you just calmly bring it back to the breath 100 times. In essence, meditation is really about paying attention. However, when we start paying attention a little more closely to the way our mind works, we are likely to find that much of the time our mind is more in the past, clinging to memories, being absorbed in wishful thinking, and regretting things that have already happened or are over. And you will probably find that as much or more energy is expended in anticipating, planning, worrying, and fantasizing about the future than it is in the present moment. In our life outside of meditation, we may find that much of the time we're really on automatic pilot without being fully aware of what we are doing and experiencing. In the early stages of meditation practice, you might notice that your thoughts are constantly pulling your attention away from the primary task we have set for ourselves in the development of calmness and concentration, which is to be with the breath. In order to build continuity in your meditation practice, you will need to keep reminding yourself to come back to the breath, no matter what the mind is up to. A helpful reminder to yourself when you notice that you are lost in thoughts is to label your thoughts. When you notice the attention wandering away into a story or a thought about something, you could name the thoughts as planning, worrying, analyzing, or remembering. And then if it's helpful, you can say, "Thank you, but not right now," and then return your attention to the next breath. The breath plays a very important role in meditation. Your own breath can be an incredibly powerful ally and teacher as you begin to learn. Often, the breath is used as an anchor of attention when practicing meditation and can be a helpful place to come home to every time we notice that our attention is wandering away. When we focus on the breath when meditating, we're learning right from the start to get comfortable with change. We see that we will have to be flexible and we will have to train ourselves to attend to a process that not only cycles and flows, but also responds to our environment by changing its rhythm. The breath can also be a very useful tool in supporting mindfulness in everyday life. As long as we are alive, we are breathing. That provides many moments for us to connect back to a vital and constant yet changing rhythm to anchor your attention to. Another benefit of focusing on the breath is that it can support relaxation, and in particular, focusing on the breath at your belly can be calming. Just as the surface of the ocean tends to be choppy when the wind is blowing, the mind too tends to be reactive and agitated when the outside environment is not calm and peaceful. In the case of the ocean, if you go down 10 or 20 feet, there are only gentle waves, calm, even when the surface is agitated. In the same way, when we focus on our breathing down in the belly, we're bringing awareness to an area of the body that is below the agitations of our thinking mind. This can be a valuable way of reestablishing inner calmness and balance in the face of emotional overwhelm or when you have a lot on your mind. When practicing meditation, we're abandoning the instinctive tendency to tense up and reject discomfort. This means that we are practicing in allowing and welcoming whatever comes up. In meditation, we cultivate mental stability as well as cultivating emotional awareness. When we sit quietly and make ourselves receptive to whatever feelings might arise, we're likely to open up to memories, experiences, and emotions that can sometimes feel painful. Studies have shown that mindfulness meditation can help us balance our emotions. And one way to work with emotions in our meditation practice is to, again, name and label feeling experiences as they arise. The more accurately we can label an emotion, the more effectively we become unstuck from it. There are many ways to label our experience. One of the most common forms when you're feeling relatively calm is to simply say, for example, thinking. Then you notice that you're lost in a thought and you want to come back to your anchor of attention, which is usually your breath or somewhere on the body. You can label just the act of thinking, like I mentioned before. You can also do the same with sensing and feeling. You could use the labels pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral to describe how you feel. This labeling of our experience softens the attachment and aversion we might feel when encountering challenging emotional experiences. You can also say things like, this hurts, or this is really hard, when you have a vague sense of discomfort in your experience. Remembering that we're not trying to stop emotions from being here. We want to know when we're suffering so we can respond appropriately and loosen the grip of becoming lost in the emotion. Opening yourself to emotions can be really tricky for people who've experienced trauma and can be harmful if you become overwhelmed and re-experience the trauma as if it were happening again. If a trauma memory should arise during meditation practice, please don't feel the need to push through it. Many people have a habit of gritting their teeth and doing what they think they should do, even if it feels bad. Always practice mindfulness meditation with an attitude of self-kindness. If you feel continuously overwhelmed, it might be appropriate for you to discontinue your practice for a while. That too is a form of self-kindness. Or you can start slow by stabilizing your attention, focusing on a single external object like a candle or a piece of music. And when you start to feel more comfortable, you can open to the body and sense of touch. Practicing meditation with fidget toys or an object like a stone or some other grounding tool can safely ground your awareness in the present moment. Meditation practice often begins with techniques for bringing us to an awareness of our bodies. This is especially important in a culture such as ours that puts a strong importance on the faculty of the mind over the body. In meditation, we practice slowing down and sitting quietly, truly staying with whatever arises. With awareness, we can cultivate a willingness to open to physical experiences without struggling against them, to actually live in our bodies. As we do so, we feel more clearly its pleasures and its pains. Culturally, many of us have learned to run from or avoid pain, but when we bring mindful attention to our pain over time, all that we have previously shut out and neglected can be held in compassionate awareness and often has more capacity to heal on its own. Learning to work with all the joys and pains of the body is part of the art of meditation. Bringing systematic attention to our body can change our whole relationship to our physical life. Without mindfully attending to our bodies, we may become so busy in our daily lives that we lose sense of an appropriate diet, movement, and physical enjoyment. Meditation can help us find ways we are neglecting the physical aspects of our lives and what our body asks of us. When practicing meditation on the body, there are two practices that are used. One is the body scan, where you move your attention systematically from one part of the body to the next. Another practice is mindful movement, which can involve any practice that links slow movements of the body with the breath while using your mindful attention. Without mindfully attending to our bodies, we may become so busy in our daily lives that we lose sense of an appropriate diet, movement, and physical enjoyment. Meditation can help us find ways we are neglecting the physical aspects of our lives and what our body asks of us. To begin practicing meditation, it can be helpful to make a scheduled time each day for formal meditation practice. Finding a posture that allows you to be alert yet relatively comfortable, and then practicing residing in this posture without trying to fill it with anything. The main points to keep in mind about your posture are to try to keep the back, neck, and head aligned vertically, to relax the shoulders, and to let your hands either rest on your lap or somewhere else that feels comfortable. You can be seated on the floor, on a pillow, or in a chair, whatever feels most comfortable to you. And then we start to observe the impulses to get up, pick up your phone, or act on any other thoughts that come into the mind. And instead of jumping up and doing whatever the mind decides, we gently and firmly bring our attention back to the breathing and just continue to watch the breath, moment by moment. Basically, we are practicing accepting each moment as it is without reacting to how it is. You simply bring the breath back gently but firmly each time. When you feel ready to practice meditation, cultivating the attitudes of patience, beginner's mind, and kindness will greatly aid you in this journey of self-exploration. You will come to learn that taking your seat, simply being the witness of all your experiences, is the most courageous act and the most compassionate gift you could give to yourself and to the world. When we are able to be with the most challenging aspects of ourselves, meeting them with curiosity and kindness, we are practicing meeting the world around us with more patience, acceptance, and ultimately more understanding. Meditation can give you this and more. The key is to begin by taking your seat.